G'day everyone. Just wanted to share a bit of a viewpoint I have about money, which I really didn't obtain until later on in my life. And it was something I was really thinking about again lately. So, for most of us, money's a finite resource. There's a dollar value we can calculate based on the total amount we're going to earn over our working life. So, if you're on $100,000 a year, and you work for 40 years of your life, that means you're going to make $4 million. Now, by the time the taxman swoops in and takes his cut, that probably leaves you with, I don't know, 3.4 million, maybe a bit over. So that's already a fair chunk of that money gone. Now, if you want to own a home, in most big cities, Uh, by the time you factor in interest into your loan payments, that's going to come to around $1 million, which means, all said and done, just factoring in those two things, probably leave you with about 2.4, $2.5 million. So already we're pretty well approaching half of that money gone already, just on those two things. Now, you got to factor in your groceries and utilities and car running costs, medical bills, and whatever else might pop up over your life. Uh, and by the time you factor in all of those things, it probably doesn't leave you too much at the end of the day. Now, some of us might be able to earn a bit more by working a second job or a side hustle, but at the end of the day, that income is still a finite resource, and some people might get lucky and open up a successful business which makes them lots of money. But opening up a successful business is no small feat. There's a lot of hard work that goes into that, and if it was easy, then everyone would do it right and everyone would be rich. So, for most of us, we're going to have a finite amount of income that we can work with over our lifetime. Now, by the time you factor in inflation over the years, um, and let's face it, with the way inflation's going, in bloody 40 years' time, $4 million will probably be lunchbox money. But by the time you factor in your inflation, uh, it really doesn't leave you with much at the end of the day over your lifetime of earning. So, really saving money from a younger age is so critical, and I really wish someone had shown me this in a different way. People have, tried to explain, you really need to save money and you need to make your money work for you, but they never explained why. No one ever highlighted to me the big picture overview of how finite of a resource money is. And over our lifetime, we're only going to be able to earn a certain amount of money. So, really, I wish someone had shared this with me at a younger age, and I'm hoping to do this now to help someone out, maybe view money a little bit differently. Because I know it wasn't until my mid 20s when I really started to view money a little bit differently, but by then, 10 years have gone by, and 10 years is a long time. Uh, and then that leaves me with 30 years of me working life, and a total amount of income that I'm going to earn over 30 years instead of 40 years. So saving is so critical, eh? Let's take a look at some calculations around saving. So here we're going to start off with a starting balance of $1, and we're going to chuck away $500 a month, which is $125 a week. So not a huge amount of money, but probably a realistic figure. And if we do that over 10 years, we can see we've got almost $74,000. And if we do this over 20 years, that brings us up to nearly $185,000. Now I'm basing this off of a interest rate of 4%, which is probably going to be around your stock standard interest rate over the, course of your life anyway. So we've earned ourselves $64,000 in interest. Now this is putting aside $125 a week over 20 years. So you can see just how difficult it is to actually set aside money over time. So letting that opportunity get away from you at a young age really, um, it comes back to bite you, I think, later on down in life. I mean, let's face it, if you're doing this from age 16 and by the time you hit your mid 30s, you decide, you know what, I want to pay off a house and, set myself up for some kind of retirement in the future, then starting off with $185,000 sure beats starting off with $0, right? Or even worse, in debt, which is, the case for some people. So, really, starting at that young age is so critical, and I wish someone sort of sat down and explained this to me, uh, instead of just trying to lecture me and say, oh, you got to save your money and, you got to make your money work for you, and without actually really highlighting some of these key issues around money and how it is a finite resource for most of us, and it's going to be difficult to obtain over your life. Now, let me get rid of this. So, some of you are going to say, oh, you got to put that money in investments and this and that, Bitcoin or whatever it might be. But I'm not trying to tell people what to do with their money. At the end of the day, that's your decision. But really, I'm trying to highlight that over time, money is a finite resource, and the more you squander that opportunity in your younger years, I find the more you kind of regret it when you're older. And it's kind of that balance, right? It's like, you want to enjoy yourself when you're younger, but you also want to set yourself up later on down in the track for some kind of retirement, whatever that might look like. Maybe you want to get a house out in the country like me, or maybe you want to get a little unit down by the beach and just live a cushy lifestyle down there. Maybe you want to travel abroad and, live in another country or something like that, or travel the world and live in other countries. And really, by squandering your opportunity of money when you're younger, really limits you to your possibilities as you get older. Because at the end of the day, let's face it, money's going to be a finite resource for the majority of us. And with this finite resource, it even, I think, highlights more the fact that you need to stay out of debt wherever possible. Because when you're in debt, then you're paying interest on that debt, which means over the course of your life, you're going to earn even less money at the end of the day. So yeah, I just wanted to have a bit of a rant about this. I was thinking about it the other day, and I really wish someone had sat down and sort of run me through this and taught me the importance of money and how difficult it is to obtain over our lives. So yeah, drop a comment below. Have you got any tips or viewpoints about money? That you could perhaps help people with. And if you like the video, then give us a thumbs up too, eh? Cheers, legends.